It's Paul Stanley with my loyal friend and fan, Eddie Trunk. Congrats on 25 years of bang.
Guitarist Ace Frehley in the studio shortly.
Man has community college written all over him.
Kid from my neighborhood.
Eddie.
Fell into a sewer when he was little. He was always a little jerky after that.
Eddie Trunk.
Yeah!
Rocks.
All the members of KISS did their own solo records. And Snowblind, great song there. And also Ace with Torpedo Girl from the Unmasked album. And that's for all the folks working at the Hard Rock here in New York City, Johnny Hard Rock and the crew. Heavy on the Unmasked album. They made a lot of Unmasked-related requests, so we did Torpedo Girl. I've Had Enough from Animalize, some of the heaviest stuff KISS ever did. Great double bass drumming going on there from Eric Carr, the late, great Eric Carr. Anthony and Mount Vernon requesting that. Psycho Circus title track from what is still the most recent KISS studio album, now 12 years old or so, about 10 years old, actually. Title track from that one. And we started with the very first album, 74, February 74, Kissin' Time, a song where at least all three of the members who were singing at the time take a lead vocal, which I thought was so cool. The one guy who wasn't yet singing in KISS on that first album is responsible for that headphone feedback that you just heard as he gets wired up.
What's up, brother?
Ace comes in here. He's got computers. He's got coffee. He's got headphones. He's got all kinds of stuff going on.
Headphones. What are you talking about?
But anyway, thank you for braving the elements.
Yeah.
And the original Merry Christmas special is on the air, and it's an honor to have my good friend, Mr. Frehley, in the studio with us tonight, sitting in like you did a few years ago, co-hosting with us, and you brought one of your cohorts with you. One of your band members,
Yeah.
Mr. Hawkins. Derek, how are you?
Mr. Hawkins, Derek.
That's the hawk to you, my friend.
It's the Hawk. For those that have seen Ace on his most recent touring, Derek is Ace's second guitar player and somewhat of a neighbor, right? You guys have kind of started working together a little bit in the studio too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like we never get out of the studio.
Yep.
Actually, we don't ever get out of the studio.
Derek, how's it feel for you to be working with this guy now? You've been involved in the band, what, for about a year or so now?
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's a dream come true. I mean, it was my first concert when I was 9 years old, and
Where at? Where'd you see him?
Lakeland Civic Center, June 15th,
Florida?
1979. Yep.
Florida, okay. 79.
1979 Dynasty Tour.
All right, my first show was 77, so I was a couple years before you there. So, when was your first show, Ace?
My first show?
What was the first show you? We're talking about first time we saw you and KISS play. What was the first show you ever saw, a rock concert?
Ooh, I don't know.
You don't remember your very first concert, the first time you saw a rock concert?
No.
Really?
No, wasn't it like The Who or something like that?
Brain damage popping. But I've seen a lot of great ones, you know.
Well, you just saw Neil Young the other night, right?
I saw Neil Young. He was fabulous. He tore up the garden, and you know, I've seen Led Zeppelin. I saw Led Zeppelin's first New York appearance. I think I even mentioned that the last time I was on the air, wasn't it?
Yeah. Did you ever see Hendrix?
Yes.
You did?
I roadied for Hendrix.
Really?
Yeah. His last New York appearance, Randall's Island.
How did that happen?
I snuck backstage, and they put me to work. You know, I was on the stage crew, and I was, you know, setting up for Jethro Tull and Mountain, you know. And I was, next thing you know, I'm putting. God rest his soul, he just passed away. Mitch Mitchell's drums together.
Right.
And I'm setting up his drum kit, and this guy comes over, and he's helping me set up the drums. And I go, "Who's this English roadie?" You know.
Yeah.
And he had a beard and long hair and a headband. Now, you remember when Mitch used to have the afro.
Yeah, right.
On the first album.
Mm-hmm.
All along, I'm setting up drums with Mitch Mitchell, not knowing it's Mitch Mitchell
That it was
because
his own
he's got
kid.
a completely different look, and I didn't know.
Right.
Then an English roadie comes over and he says, "Hey, Mitch, which snare are you using tonight?" I go, "Holy shit, it's Mitch Mitchell." You know.
Did you meet Hendrix? Did you ever meet him?
Yeah, we just briefly, you know, hey.
It's just a hey
Thank
type
you.
of thing. Right, because at that point he didn't know you were about to become Ace Frehley. You were just a kid hanging out.
I was a young
you were
shaver.
Paul. You were a young Paul Frehley hanging out like people probably hung out trying to meet you at some point. So
Yeah.
pretty interesting how it's all kind of goes around in circles. So Anyway, man, thanks for coming in. We for the people listening outside of the New York area, we had some bad weather here today, like ice and sleet and snow, and Ace is in Westchester area. I'm in Jersey. And, of course, our flagship station here, Q1043, is in New York City. But we all managed to make it here for this show. And we have so many people listening all over the world on the Internet, logged in online, and also people listening live on Q1043. And, of course, everyone on our flagship stations like ZZO in Allentown, KDKB in Phoenix, Arizona, all our great affiliate stations. Welcome to all of you. For you guys that don't know, this is a yearly show that I do one time a year where we spotlight nothing but the music and history of KISS, the band that started it all for me and so many others in the world of rock music, like Derek, who's in Ace's band now. So,
Me too.
So we cover all the eras, all the lineups. We take a lot of your KISS requests, and Ace has been nice enough to come in and sit in. And before we go to a break and then come back and play some more music, Ace has a few things to announce. Most importantly,
I do.
Well, you do. The one thing that we can talk about without getting in trouble is your website.
Yeah.
AceFrehley.com is official and up and on the internet right now.
Yeah.
You managed to find the connection in Jendell.
Exactly. It's remarkable how we pulled that off.
Well, you know, it's remarkable. You were the first guy I ever knew who was really into computers and computer graphics, and you still know more about it than I ever will. But it took you the longest to get your website up.
I was never a big internet fan.
Really?
I mean, I've always loved computers and computer graphics, but I was never a big guy going online. Only in the last couple of years did I really start researching the internet, and you gotta know about it now. But
He's more about like having computers to like run the cameras in his house, and like he's got like this like space satellite that like beams down on his house. But more,
I got everything networked now.
I swear he's got
so cool.
a split screen camera every angle of his property. That he does that. He's good at that.
But the name, to get your name for the website, acefrehley.com, did someone else have that? Did you have to fight that, or did you register that a long time ago?
I registered a long time ago, but somebody didn't want to give it up, so we got it back.
You had to go through legal means.
No,
Someone was
we
just
got it back. I'd rather,
All right. Well, you got it. That's important.
The bottom line is I have acefrehley.com and acefrehley.net, and life's a beautiful thing.
Because people, once the site did go up, what did the site go up about a week ago?
Yeah.
At this point?
Yeah,
Actually, it launched 4 days ago, 5 days ago. We've already had 200,000 visits and over 5,000 signups.
So because the reason why I asked that is because you didn't have an official site for so long until now. A lot of people thought there's so many fan sites and offshoot sites, and I had a lot of email when your site went up. People came to me and said, hey, is this really the official site? Because there's, an acefrehley.com claiming to be the official website of Ace. Right. Is this really it? And that, of course, you told me it was, so I knew that it was. So, yeah, there's finally an official destination, so go check it out. And I imagine it's a work in progress, right? I mean, you're going to be adding stuff as you go. And
isn't it always?
Yeah, I guess so.
How's your site doing?
It's a work in progress.
Actually, me and Derek shot a video last week that we're going to put on the site. We did a jam of Fractured Mirror.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we were sitting around.
Get right on that mic, Derek.
It came out pretty awesome. And then he had this really cool like thing that spins around. He's like, let's throw this up here. This will look great. So, that looked amazing.
The buttons on the website?
Yeah.
Those round buttons, the lightning bolt? Yeah. So we had a big one and a screen behind us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
It was a lot of fun. It was cool to jam on that song, too. It was the weirdest thing, like playing guitar for 30 years. I never knew how to play that song. Right. I never knew. I don't know why. I just couldn't figure it out until we were in Vancouver, and I got this new guitar, and I brought it up to Ace's room. And he started showing me. I was like, wow, that's how you play it.
The original Fractured Mirror.
The original Fractured Mirror. Right. Yeah. So
that's the biggest thing I remember about that song as a kid was my friend got a new stereo. And it was the first time they came out with like the LED lights on the front panel, the pulsing lights, not the meters, the lights, the light grid. Right. And we all sat there and this is so like, 1978 teenager stuff. We went out and we got like a big case of beer, like Mickey's Wide Mouths.
I don't know anything about
About beer?
Nah, not at all.
Well, this is my story, though.
Yeah.
We had this big case of beer. We're sitting there, and he took the stereo out of the box. We put it on the counter, and the first thing he did was put on Fractured Mirror, because that song goes, it builds, and we could watch the lights pulse
Oh, yeah.
more and more on the amp as we drank the beer, and we thought it was the coolest thing. It's like, wow.
And you turned off all the lights in the
Of
room,
course,
obviously.
yeah.
Yeah, it was the 70s.
And we just needed to see the pulsing LED on
Yeah.
this amplifier, and the first thing we played on it was Fractured Mirrors. So that's my recollection.
I'm flattered, Ed. I'm flattered.
All these years I knew you, and you never knew that, did you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ace is here. Derek is here as well from Ace's band, and we're just getting started. Lots of Kiss and Ace-related requests coming in at 888-872-1043. We have some stuff to give away. Speaking of websites, the chat room on EddieTrunk.com right now is jammed. Everybody in there talking about the original Merry Christmas special this year, which is now on the air, and as I said, made much more special this year by the arrival of Ace here in the studio with us. So let's take a break. If you're up for it, we'll take some more. We'll take some phone calls for you a little bit later on if you're cool with that. Say hello to Ace. And it's always a balancing act, because whenever we've had guests on the Kissmas show, people want to talk to the guests, and we want to do that sort of stuff. But then on the flip side, of course, this is your time, your one time every year that the whole show is the music of Kiss. So we'll try to balance the music versus the interview as best as we can. We'll come back. We'll do some songs for you from the request sheets, and, of course, much more with Ace and Derek hanging out in the studio right after this. The Trunk back with you, and we have in the studio with us the one and only Ace Frehley, and also Derek Hawkins from Ace's band is hanging out as well, and we are in the midst of the original Merry Christmas special, doing nothing but the music of Kiss, and we have all kinds of requests. Derek just said, what kind of requests are you getting? I said, you name it. It's anything from album number 1 through the most recent album, which at this point for Kiss is over almost 10 years now since Psycho Circus, or longer. And we played something from both the first and the most recent record already on the show. Of course, we'll get the full playlist up after tonight's show in that section on EddieTrunk.com. Something we should also mention, very important, is that tomorrow night at 11 o'clock on VH1 Classic, you can see Ace and myself and my co-hosts Jim Florentine and Don Jameson on the brand new episode premiering of That Metal Show. And Ace is in the episode that you'll see if you're listening live tomorrow night at 11 o'clock, and you'll see it repeat throughout the week. And you had fun, man. Thank you for coming in and doing the show. We had a good time.
How'd the show come out? I never saw the final cut.
I didn't either, so I don't know. We'll see it.
Great.
We'll see it tomorrow
We'll see it
together when it
tomorrow.
airs.
Okay.
It's so funny. People ask me that, and you know how television works. You shoot a bunch of stuff, and it's really the editors that have the say in how it comes out and what it looks like. Yeah. I don't know what gets included from our conversation and what they leave out.
It was a lot of fun. The audience was great. That's all I remember.
The audience was great, and you were great, too, because, you were at the end of the interview, so many people that were in the studio audience came down and met you, and you were nice enough to do photos and autographs with everyone, so that was really cool. And along those lines, I've gotten an amazing amount of email from people who want to be in the studio audience next time we shoot shows. All I can tell you is make sure we have your email address on EddieTrunk.com. Make sure you're registered, and I will send you a note and how you can get tickets. They're absolutely free, but we'll let you know. Just make sure we have your info through the site, and that's the best thing to do. As we go forward with some music, and we'll take some calls for Ace a little bit later on, we're going to play something that Derek wanted to hear from the Dress to Kill album. Derek, tell me about this, why this one means so much to you.
Okay, it's another goofy kid story, but it was you know how when you're a kid you read the back of the record cover.
Raise that mic so it's right in front of you, please.
You read the back of the album covers to see who did what, and this was the song on Dress to Kill that Ace wrote.
Right.
So I was like, it had the coolest guitar solo in it too. So.
And this thing
was always one of my favorites.
The thing about Dress to Kill, it's such a great record. It's under 30 minutes long. It's like a real quick hit. But there's so many great songs on it. It's a great sounding record, too. I think it's probably the best sounding record of the first three.
It's, it's incredible. Anything for My Baby is probably another one of my favorite songs on the album. I don't think there's a bad song on the album. Now,
Ace, what's your recollection of writing this song from Dress to Kill, Getaway?
Well, it was a long time ago, Poppy.
I know. It's 33 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you have a recollection when you brought it into the band? I mean, obviously, since you wrote it, if you were singing at this point, you probably would have sang the lead on it, right?
Yeah. I would have if.
But you didn't make your
I had the
vocal.
balls to sing back then.
You didn't make your vocal debut until a couple years later.
But everybody just listen to the guitar solo in this song because it's pretty and it's outstanding.
And of course, what you did with the songs you wrote early in Kiss was you let Peter sing them. You kind of handed them all, like this one. You know, you handed them off to Peter, right?
Yeah.
So that was an early alliance in the band. That was already the early bonding of Ace and Peter back in the early days. You handed them off the songs to sing. Yeah. You would write them and hand them off.
It worked.
It did work. Let's hear it in action right now. This is Getaway from the third Kiss album, Dressed to Kill, written by the one and only Ace Frehley, who is here hanging out with us, co-hosting on the original Merry Kissmas special. There's a great one from the Hotter Than Hell album, the second album from Kiss. And got to choose a great song, and also Getaway, written by Ace, and that from the third album, Dressed to Kill. Ace Frehley in the studio. Derek Hawkins here as well from Ace's band. Funny moment when we started Got to Choose. Derek and I were geeking out about what a great song it was, and Ace kind of looks up at Derek real quick and goes, "What is this again?" I said, typical Ace. I said, just go in the other room. We don't even need you in here. Derek and I will do the whole thing. Derek and I will tell you about all the stuff that you did that was great.
Okay. I have tunnel vision. I'm just focused on, tweaking the record and getting it out, in the spring. And
look, Ken, you just brought it up, not me, but you just said tweaking the record. So, everyone's hanging on the air here. Every single person listening, now you got your website up, wants to know, what can you tell them?
Well, we're just tweaking, we're finishing up the last track, and, we're going to, remix some stuff in January, and it'll be out, And
then we'll be able to sleep after that. They haven't gotten any sleep in 2 months.
It'll be out. Yeah, I had Derek up late last night.
Putting together a digital board.
Fractured quantum.
5 in the morning.
Fractured quantum.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. We'll take a few calls for Ace as well. If you want to jump on the line, we'll say hello real quick. Our toll-free line, if you're listening to the show live, which means you're listening in the New York City area on Q1043 or the Q stream, that's the only way you're hearing the show live. So if you are doing it that way, call us at 888-872-1043. We'll let you jump on the air a little bit. Ace is just showing me some tremendous artwork that he's put together on his computer.
It's going to be revealed on my website the first week in January. So CD album and the CD artwork.
Ace is showing me the album cover and the title, which we won't reveal until Ace is ready to do it, but it is extremely cool.
Isn't
and I
the
will say
coolest thing?
This.
How do you know it's cool?
Because you showed it to me. You just showed it to me. But here's the thing that I think is interesting, and this is all I'm going to say. You had said earlier, I saw in some interviews you did, you had mentioned a working title for the album. Which this is not that. You've changed it. And I love this title.
I've had 3.
I like this one the best.
Okay.
I won't say what it is.
That's good.
But I like this one a lot. And the artwork is really cool. And I'm already...
It looks like a classic cover, right?
It looks like... And I'm already giving Ace ideas of how to work the artwork into the live show. I've got the lasers and the screens and the visuals and the whole thing. So it's going to be cool. And when are you going to reveal all this on your site? What's the date?
I think we're talking about January 5th.
All right, so not long from now. I mean, you'll be here before you know it. So, all right, good. All right, let's take the break. Don't forget, there's a chat room going in my site, EddieTrunk.com. Don't forget, Ace is on this week's episode of That Metal Show on VH1 Classic, and he's here in the studio with us now.
How many times is that going to be on? It's like a lot. Right?
Well, it premieres, the new episode premieres every Saturday at 11 Eastern and Pacific, and then they repeat the heck out of it for weeks afterwards. So, your episode is episode number 6. The one after you is going to be Rush, Getty and Alex, which was shot the same day you were there.
They were shot before me.
Yeah, but yours airs first, and theirs airs last.
It's so great seeing those guys.
That was cool, and I think we have a photo of that on my site, but that was really cool because you guys have a long history. You go back with those guys, right?
They used to open for Kiss. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was good to see you guys reconnect and just be a fly on the wall and hear some of those war stories, I remember Alex was telling you about something, trying to jog your memory about something.
Yeah, what was that again?
I forget.
It was a crazy...
Yeah. He said, ask Ace about the whatever. I go, ask him yourself. We'll be here in a little while.
After the fact, it started
to come back.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't remember Got to Choose, so I doubt you'd remember partying with Rush in '74.
I tease you guys. I remember all those songs. Come on.
All right,
I'd love to see the reaction.
We have to do. Let's do a name that tune with Ace. We'll play some Kiss riffs,
Like
the
those
songs he was
snippets
on,
of it? Yeah.
and give him 10 seconds and see if he can tell us what song it is. And I guarantee you, Derek and I will kick your ass, Ace.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we have to do a stump the trunk with me and you too.
Exactly. All right, we'll do that too. Let's do the break. We'll come back. Derek and Ace are hanging out. We got 2 hours left to go. Your requests, and we'll take a few phone calls for the guys as well right after this. Hold on a second. Let's do it right after. Speaking of computers, you know, they rule our world now, and I didn't get something set here on this computer. So let me just do this. All right, here we go. We will be back with more right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lord, I hope no children, please welcome
Eddie Trunk.
Friday Night Rocks.
Q1043. Celebrating 25 years of headbanging.
My wife's got a headache this big.
Eddie Trunk. Friday Night Rocks on Q1043.
All right, it's Eddie Trunk back with you, kicking off the start of the second hour of our weekly 3-hour get-together. Tonight's a little bit of a different show as we do the holiday special edition programs. Last week we did the All Underground Classic show. Next week we'll do the All Cover show. Tonight it's the original Merry Christmas special, celebrating the band that started it all for me as a music fan and so many others, and celebrating, most importantly, the music from that band, which is so tremendously overlooked, in my opinion. So we'll showcase more of those tunes from all the different decades and lineups and things like that. A lot of your requests coming in. We'll get to all that in just a little bit. Of course, Ace Frehley is here with us, and he is in the studio hanging out. He's just launched his official website for the first time.
AceFrehley.com.
Easy enough to remember. Is there a Derek Hawkins official website anywhere?
No, I hope not. Well, I don't think so.
He can put his stuff on my site.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks,
Ace is going to share.
Thanks, man.
Ace is going to share a little bandwidth with you,
Thanks, man.
a couple megabytes or whatever it is on a website. So, all right, so we got a few phone calls. Ace, you want to talk to a few people, then we'll go back to music. Is that cool?
Sure.
It's the holiday season, so everybody wants to say hello, be festive here.
Well, I like the snow outside. That works for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's where are we going to go here? Let me see. Let's start in. Is this? I think Maine. Is this Alex?
Hi. My name is Alex. Now I'm in Maryland. So Maryland, Eddie. How
All
you
right,
doing?
Alex. Hey, you're live on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex.
How you doing, Ace?
Great.
Derek, I got to meet you in Baltimore at the Rams Head show. I met you and Scotty. You guys signed my ticket. I got to meet Anthony. He gave me a handful of guitar picks.
Oh, yeah, I remember you.
You were excellent. Thank you so much. I was probably geeking out just like this when I met you and stuff. I called Scott Anthony by accident, and he was like, it's Scotty.
Yeah, I totally remember. I remember you exactly.
And I don't know if you remember Ace. I saw you at Jack's. I was the annoying bastard with the Best of the Soul album solo cover shoving in your face trying to get you to sign it, but you want to do, but it's cool.
All right, Alex, listen, let's get to a question. I loved all the recollections, but there's a million people waiting. Do you have a question?
Yes, Ace, I was wondering, would the Fractured Quantum track song be as great as Fractured Mirror, Fractured 2, and Fractured 3? Would it go together with all together to make one big piece?
Well, a lot of people have already done that.
Yes.
Put all the Fractured Mirrors together, you mean?
I should re-record them all and make like one record.
I mean, would the fourth one match perfectly, fit into it, make one complete story?
I think so.
It goes together with a flow all together.
Well, we're putting out the fourth in the series of Fractured instrumentals, which is going to be Fractured Quantum, and yeah, it's a great idea. We should put them all together.
But it can't be. There's really not a story since there's no lyrics. They're all instrumental.
No,
right?
You know what I should do? I should put all four together, re-record the first three, so I own the masters like everybody else is doing. So you can make a few dollars, and I should do an animation to it. It's computer animation.
Right.
But the recording of the Fractured Quantum, I think what he's saying, it does kind of tie into the other ones.
Well, they all tie into each other.
And it sounds wonderful. It sounds really, really nice.
You could make a Fractured EP and put them all, do a whole mega mix or something, right?
Yeah.
No, DVD. Animation pop.
Right.
But does that answer your question?
Yeah, he I hope so, because we let him go. So.
Okay.
Let him go.
Well, we got to keep moving here. Scott, Bayside. Scott, you're live on the air.
Eddie and Ace, thanks for taking my call, Ace. You always inspiration for me, the rough times growing up. So thanks a lot for helping me persevere and succeed. Just wanted to ask you, on Peter Chris's last solo album, One for All, he did a song about you called Space Ace. I wanted to know your opinion of that. And
he never sent me the CD. You're supposed to send me a copy. I never got it. Petey, out there. I'm still waiting for the CD.
So you never heard it?
I never heard it. No.
All right.
I heard you're a Yankee season ticket holder. Do you enjoy spectator sports?
I love the Yankees. I grew up in the Bronx. What do you expect?
But you're not a season ticket holder, are you? Do you have season tickets to the Yankees?
I have a good friend who has it.
Oh, all right. It's not going to be cheap any longer to go see any sporting events.
He's told me the
now.
prices for the Yankee tickets just doubled.
Unbelievable. I waited 27 years to get Giants football tickets, and I got them 5 years ago, and now they're doing the seat license stuff, and it's just I don't know how the regular person is out for sports.
Yeah,
it's all corporate.
Basketball, $150 a ticket, no problem. I mean, I'm lucky because I know some people too that take care of me that I appreciate, but it's not. It's mind-boggling what this stuff.
Well,
goes
they're
for.
opening up a Hard Rock in the Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Well, actually, and Johnny from the Hard Rock here in New York, I know has talked to some people in your camp about getting some of your memorabilia up there. Actually,
yeah, we're working on. I just found the robe. You know the Japanese Kiss Tour book.
Yeah.
You know that black robe with the red inside.
Yeah.
I just found that the other day.
Well, I had that book. I remember that. I remember having that book on my wall.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to put that in a case with the tour book and a couple other,
Johnny, get ready.
Some chopsticks.
A bowl of rice.
Johnny, get ready to dig deep in the Hard Rock vault for the money for that one, baby. That one's not coming cheap.
Yeah, brother.
Ace in San Francisco. What's happening, Ace?
What's happening, Eddie Trunk?
You're on with the Ace here.
I'm on. Yeah, we got a pair of aces in the hole.
Pair of aces.
Well, we're not in the hole yet. Maybe later.
So, Ace, I was talking to Esposito and those guys, and they were telling me you're quite the poker player. So, what's the most you've ever won playing poker? Not off those guys.
I love playing poker with friends. I really don't like playing poker much with strangers, like in casinos. So, but I'm pretty much in the casino, blackjack, and I've won $50,000 at Atlantic City.
Wow,
nice.
But actually, that was in roulette. That was a roulette hit. Yeah.
All right. Well, will you play me when you come to San Francisco?
I don't know you.
Actually, we have met.
Okay. Well, then there's a chance we can get something together.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll see what we can do about that. Let's get a couple more calls, and we'll get back to some more music here. This is Staten Island. Chris, you are on with Ace Frehley.
Hi, how are you guys doing? How's everything going?
We're good. Merry Christmas.
Good.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. My question is this. I've been looking long and hard for the 1989 album Trouble Walking, because I like the cover of Do Ya from ELO.
Right.
I was just wondering if Ace was going to look to re-release that CD, because I can't find it anywhere.
It's on Megaforce, right?
Yeah,
you were the vice president.
I could probably take that one for you, Ace. What a lot of people don't get is the fact that it's not up to the artist, Chris, and I appreciate the call. Thank you. It's not up to artists whether they re-release their stuff. They don't own it. The record labels do. And in the case of that record, it's owned by, at the end of the day, Atlantic Records, and it's up to them if they want to put it in print or re-release it or whatever the case may be. So you'd have to ask them, not Ace, not me, not anyone, because they own the masters on those original three solo albums from the 80s that I worked with Ace on. So that's a great one, though. Trouble Walking is a great record. I think it was maybe one of the best, if not the best of the three, although there was great stuff on the first one, too. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's in print or not, but, I'm sure if you search around, you'll find it some. The one that is the most in print and most available is the first one because that sold the most. So let's get one more call, and then we'll get some more music going here on the original Merry Christmas special in Eastchester. This is John. John, you're live on the air.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
What's up, John?
What's up?
Yeah, Ace, I know that, you have all the costumes. There was a progression of costumes from the early days. I just want to know who designed those costumes?
Well, the real early ones I designed, and
you designed the logo, too, for the band, the KISS logo, right?
Yeah, well, everybody knows that, don't they?
I think so, but there's a lot of younger people that listen to this show and learn about it. So, yeah,
I designed the early costumes, and then we got other people involved. Once, you know, we went on that roller coaster ride, which never ended. Did that answer your question?
I think it did. Brandon in Franklin Square, jump in here real quick. We'll give you one more. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Ace.
Hey, what's up? Did that answer your question?
I think it did. Brandon in Franklin Square, jump in here real quick. We'll give you one more. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Ace.
Hey, what's up?
I wanted to ask Ace, out of all the Kiss albums that you worked on with Gene, Peter, and Paul, what was your favorite album to play on?
I don't know.
He doesn't remember.
Oh, shit. Actually, you know, I mean, Bob Ezrin was tough on me. You know, he ran a strict ship, but it was the most gratifying when I came up with something really good on Destroyer.
On Destroyer,
yeah.
No, and because Ezrin obviously did The Elder, and that was the one that ran you out, basically, right?
No, not really. You know. Actually, I collaborated with Bob on actually Escape from the Island on that record.
Right, but you've said in the past that The Elder was a record that you really pointed to as being a record that really caused you a lot of frustration because they cut a lot of your leads out.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. I was kind of a little baby back then in a way. But I told them the record wasn't going to make it anyway because it wasn't heavy enough. But they don't listen to me. What can I tell you?
And you know, it's funny because Ezrin it's interesting because Bob Ezrin, and we're talking about the legendary producer, of course, who first worked with Kiss on Destroyer. People that have worked with him have said the same thing that you did, that he really pushes and you can really butt heads with him. But at the end of the day, the end result is something that, you know, stands up, and Destroyer definitely does.
Yeah, well, I probably needed my ass kicked because I used to always show up late or loaded or, you know, or I didn't show up at all. But, you know.
Well, and that's also the other case is that there, and I don't know if this is true and if you can confirm this, but people have said there were a couple tracks on Destroyer that a session guy did come in. I think one of the Alice Cooper band guys that Ezrin brought in because you didn't show up.
Yeah, well.
And I don't.
It happens.
But you know another like sort of kind of testament to how much Bob Ezrin I think brings out is like the guitar solo on Dark Light is probably one of the best guitar solos I've heard from Ace. You know.
All right, I'll slip you the 20 later.
Yeah, make sure it checks in the mail. No, but it's true though. It's like it seriously. It seems like he really does try and like bring out the best.
I remember hearing that too. You know, not a lot of people, unless you're a real huge Kiss fan, even know they don't even know about about Dark Light or The Elder for that matter. But I remember that too, Derek. And again, it's cool having you here because you come from the same thing as me in terms of our fan worship here. And I remember hearing that was one of the things about the Elder record that two things that I liked. I liked the riff and the oath a lot because that was a heavy riff. And then I liked Dark Light when everything just broke down and there was that drum lick under Ace soloing his ass off.
Yeah, it's
you never really
incredible.
heard a moment like that on a Kiss record.
You know what's even more incredible is we were sitting in the studio and he was playing the solo for me and his friggin' hand was moving so fast.
You did the solo to Dark Light in the studio for Derek?
Yeah. How cool is that?
That's cool.
But and I was just like that. There it is. It's right there in front of me. There it is, right there in front of me. And
I hadn't played it for what?
Yeah, no, he's
10,
like, how
15
he's like,
years?
let's figure this out. And like it was in some weird Keith Richards tuning. And it was pretty awesome.
Why do you have a picture of you and Danny Stanton here?
Because Sid brought it in to me. I don't know. The guy you're with gave it to me. Danny's a road manager and a friend, and somebody just walked in and gave us a photo of me. That's me and him at the Chiller Expo, which you did this year.
Oh, right.
And my goodness, the lines of people waiting to meet Ace and get a photo or an autograph.
That was so much
unreal.
fun. That was so much fun.
It was quite an event. It was very cool. And you hung out with some interesting people there that you ran into from, speaking of the 70s, from back in the day, right? Didn't you have Linda Hamilton
Linda
reconnected
Hamilton
with?
from Terminator 2. We saw Scott Macchio from The Karate Kid.
Ralph Macchio.
Huh?
Ralph Macchio.
Scott Baio, Ralph Macchio. You did a combination of the two.
They look kind of the same.
Yeah, same. I would think the same thing, too.
Who else was there, Ed?
Well, Lita Ford was there.
Oh, yeah. We said hi to Lita. I said hi to JJ from
JJ was there. My friend Bumblefoot was in the room with me.
All the Sweat Hogs were there too, right?
The Sweat Hogs.
Bumblefoot? What?
The guitar player in Guns, Ron Thal, Bumblefoot.
Oh.
Yeah. And,
that's his nickname?
Yeah, Bumblefoot, yeah. And wasn't Ernest Borgnine there, or he was there last year? I think Ernest Borgnine. No, he was there last year.
I'm ugly, Mom. Isn't that famous line from Marty?
I know him from Poseidon Adventure. That's the thing I know him best from. But
McHale's Navy. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't. Yeah, I don't know that. Like you don't know Got to Choose, so it's all relative.
I know Got to Choose. What are you talking about? Stop.
We're just talking about Dark Light. Let's play it from the Elder.
Yeah, Poppy.
And what recollection? Anything you can share with us? I mean, the Elder, an interesting period for you because. You know, it was your last record, really, with the band. Even though you're pictured on Creatures, everyone knows you didn't really play on it. So,
yeah.
I mean, was this kind of like, you know, did you know? Let me ask you this: when you were recording the Elder, Eric Carr's first album with the band, and your last at that point. But did you know? Did you have a feeling when you were doing the sessions for this record and contributing to it that it was going to be it for you after this, or did you think there may have been a way to go forward after this?
I don't know. I wasn't happy, you know. But a lot of my unhappiness was from within, you know. But it took me a while to figure that out.
Right. You see, you know, and Derek, you can chime in on this as a fan. What I always find interesting about Ace's last few albums with Kiss is the fact that he was unhappy, but towards the end, the last few albums you did with the band, you never had more input creatively. Look at Dynasty and Unmasked and The Elder, and you have equal amount of songs on there. There's like 3-4 lead vocals each from you on those records.
What I noticed is that those were, and it's not because I'm playing in Ace's band, we're friends or anything like that. It's just that I noticed that it was. That was kind of kept like the rock and roll element of what Kiss was in the early days. I think in the later albums, he was pretty much the only one doing those sort of songs, keeping that rock and roll going. His songs weren't so much the pop songs on the album. They had more fire, I think, than.
Yeah, I think there's some really overlooked material on all those records, actually. Yeah. They get pigeonholed as being that period, but I think there's some good stuff on there as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
McHale's Navy.
Got to choose.
All right, Ace is here with us. Derek is here as well, and we are hanging out. We're coming up on the halfway point of the show. Let's do a few more songs here, mixing it up between conversation with Ace and, of course, music from Kiss. We'll continue with your requests as well. All decades, all lineups. We'll take your requests and we'll play them back for you along the way also, and maybe some more calls a little bit later on. But right now, from The Elder, featuring a blistering solo from the man in the studio with us, Ace Frehley, here's Dark Light. So I was messing with Ace when we started playing that, and I was like, how can you not remember that song, Ace? You don't know that riff? How do you not remember playing on that? You don't know this song? What's wrong with you?
I remember playing around with that riff, though.
Well, that would really be interesting because that was released about 12 years after you left the band, I think. Or 10 years after.
Maybe in my dreams, but...
I don't know. I don't see a co-write on that for you, but that is called Spit from the Kiss album Revenge, recorded with the lineup of Eric Singer and Bruce Kulick. And there's a theme that ties together Spit, King of the Nighttime World that we played before that, which is from Destroyer, of course, and Dark Light from The Elder that we played before that. And the theme that ties all of them together...
Scotch tape.
Ace wouldn't know because you don't know that was not your era, the last record, but Derek and I know, being the Kiss geeks that we are, those are the track from each of the 3 records that Bob Ezrin produced for Kiss. The Revenge album that one came from is Ezrin, as is Destroyer, and of course...
Outtakes, Poppy, outtakes.
Ace is showing me really good outtakes right now. We're not talking audio outtakes.
You know what he's talking about.
Ace has photos here. Can I tell people what you're showing me?
Why not?
When Kiss was in Playboy, what year was that? Like 98?
Come on, you know the dates.
No, I'm bad with dates. I'm actually bad with dates. Is it 98-ish, isn't it? 97, 98?
I like the ish. 98-ish.
So when all the members of Kiss were in Playboy magazine, you have outtakes of the photo session, which are... To use your
nobody
words.
has them but me because they're Polaroids.
Oh, so you scan the Polaroid?
Yeah.
All right. But you unfortunately couldn't really do anything with those because the whole thing with probably the photographer, unless he signed off on it, right?
What photographer? Who was the guy?
I don't. Trust me, you'll find out if they show up somewhere on somewhere they're not supposed to. But
I'm not going to sell them.
That Ace, that must have been a grueling shoot for you that day to be surrounded by Playboy models in your makeup hanging on you. That had to be extremely taxing.
Somebody's got to do it.
Tough life.
Derek, you just look at that, and that's what you reach for as a kid. When you first put a guitar around your neck as a kid to play rock music, not only did you ever think you'd be playing with Ace, but that's what you're reaching for still, right?
That's never happened. I still haven't gotten there.
You mean when you were in Stabbing Westward, that never happened?
No. That's a whole nother world, dude. That's a whole nother world.
It's a yet.
A to be happening actually.
Look at that.
Yeah. Anyway, Ace Frehley is here. Derek Hawkins, who's in Ace's band on second guitar, is here. Ace has his own website, officially launched, so check that out. It's easy to know. Just go to acefrehley.com. And yes, that is an officially sanctioned website, and Ace is going to be putting all sorts of great things like he's showing me right now on this computer.
Should I
eventually
put these on
up
the website?
I think you should certainly, as long as you don't get in trouble for doing it.
Do I have to put things over the
the little bars?
No, it's the website. I think you can do anything.
Bars,
no, they're already wearing masks. You don't have to put anything over their eyes.
Yeah. You can see Ace as my guest on the new episode of That Metal Show premiering this week on VH1 Classic. So look for that if you're listening live in New York City on Q1043. That'll be tomorrow night at 11. Anyone else, it's airing this week. So look for Ace sitting in on the show with Don, Jim, and myself. And that is the latest episode as well. And Ace announced that somewhere around the beginning of the new year, you can see the album cover art and the brand new title, which is none of the previously announced titles, for his upcoming solo album, which, you were here a few years ago saying it was coming. People have been holding you to it, but you think it's going to come next year.
Oh,
yeah, it will be.
Definitely in the spring.
Right.
Absolutely, positively. Or I'm going to quit the business.
No, I'm aging faster and faster from this. But and it's coming out really good. It's coming out so special. So I'm proud of it.
Yeah, finishing up the last track and mix and bada bing.
And you guys did a lot of touring since the band got back together, which was a year ago. A little over a year ago for my Halloween thing at the Hard Rock was the first show, really. And since then, this band's been together now for a little over a year. A lot of shows, both in America and Europe. I mean, and that experience, I imagine, made everyone stronger as a band, and probably is going to help the record, right? Because now that you did doing some live shows, Ace, help kind of shape the record a little bit too now?
It gets you in that mindset to, whenever you write a song, a lot of times you imagine performing it live. And I think a lot of the new songs will transfer very well to the stage. So, the whole thing helps. Although it's two different animals, the road and the studio, two different. A lot of guys are great on the road, and they can't play in the studio, and vice versa.
Right.
I can do both, Poppy.
Yeah, we're pretty good at doing both.
Yeah.
You guys are multitaskers.
Derek's good, Anthony's good, Scotty's good.
I have to say, this is the best band I've ever been in, as far as the power of the rhythm section. I don't think anybody can touch us once we get back on the road.
Well, I'll tell you, everyone.
I know nobody can touch us.
Everyone who saw the shows, really, that you've done, whether they're America or Europe or whatever, really has said amazingly positive things. Even today, I was talking to Snake from Skid Row on the phone. We were chatting for a bit, and he was telling me, he said, "What are you doing tonight?" I told him that Ace was coming in. He said, "Oh, say hello to Ace." And he said, he goes, "I didn't see Ace with the last run of tour dates." He said, "But, he's working with Phil from Pantera now. He manages Down." And Snake was saying to me, he goes, "Some of the guys, the Pantera guys, saw you guys play in Dallas or something." And he said, they called me just raving at how kick-ass the set was, how great the band was.
Right.
and also the fact that you were able to do material in the show that Ace never really did before, because vocally you didn't really want to tackle it, but because the way Scott sings.
Scott's a monster.
I mean, not only a monster player, but the way he sang lead on some of that stuff, to be able to do that freed you up, Ace, to play some more guitar and kind of get away from the mic a little bit, which I know you don't mind doing from time to time.
Well, I need a break every once in a while. You know, I'm not this virtuoso vocalist.
Yeah, what's really cool though is like I think this band sounded amazing playing the Kiss stuff, the older stuff. But as heavy as this new record is, I mean, you've heard some of the stuff on it. It's heavy. Yeah. This band's just gonna crush it when we go out live.
Yeah,
crush it. Yeah,
it's gonna be cool. I'm psyched for everybody to hear what happens. And I'll say this, Ace, talk about vocally. You know, yeah, of course you. As you said, you've never been a virtuoso singer, but I'll say this, in all the years I've known you, and it's been many, I've never heard you sing better either on the record or live than you do now, or play for that matter, and that's really for one reason. You're sober. You know, I mean, that's all about your sobriety. And how long has it been now? It's 3 years or so? About 3 years?
No, 2 years plus.
2 years plus. But, I mean, that's the difference. I mean, as a player and a singer, yeah, it seems like you have so much more going on, and that's, you know, congratulations to you, man. That's the most important thing, above and beyond anything.
Yeah,
above and beyond anything.
You know, life is not as complicated today. Keep it simple.
We've had many interviews over the years, Ace and I, where it hasn't always been this easy. And man, are those tapes for the ages. Put that audio up on your website one of these days.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got more music coming up, more Kiss classic stuff, any lineup, any era. We got a lot of requests here. We'll get to some of them. Obviously, with Ace sitting here, we have a ton of requests for Shock Me, so we'll get back into it with doing some Shock Me. Maybe we'll do the live version. Mix it up a little bit, and whatever other Kiss classics
we gotta do
hear.
Rocket Ride for Danny Stanton.
And we'll do Rocket Ride. Why is that one of his songs?
He texted me.
Oh, just now? Right now he did?
No, on the way down.
Oh, maybe he can explain what this photo is, where he's giving me the finger in the photo over here. I love Danny. What's that about?
Is that the finger, or is he pointing to?
I don't know what he's doing, but all right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Ace and Derek are here. We'll take more of your calls, and maybe we'll grab some more of your phone calls for Ace as well in a little bit, so sit tight.
Friday night with Eddie Trunk on Q1043. Hoisting the heavy metal for 25 years.
Well done. You must be tired.
Eddie Trunk. Friday Night Rocks. Q1043.
All right, just past the halfway point of tonight's show, which is the original Merry Christmas special, our yearly salute to all things Kiss, made more special this year by the return of Ace Frehley hanging out with us here in the studio. Derek Hawkins, the band's rhythm guitarist, here in the studio with us as well. Derek just asking me about why I didn't get the UFO tattoo, which so many people have seen in the one of the recent episodes of that metal show. And I couldn't do it, man. I don't have any tattoos or piercings, and I just couldn't. But I really got duped that day. I was totally duped. Like, I went into the city. I really bought hook, line, and sinker that we were there to see someone else get this tattoo. And
the look of shock and horror on your face.
There was a bit in the show that you're going to be on tomorrow.
Put on my headphones.
Yeah, there's a bit, and these guys duped me into going to a tattoo parlor, and they tried to force me to get a tattoo with the logo of the band UFO because I love that band so much. So it's just, you'll see it when you see the show when you see that episode. But I couldn't go. I don't have any tattoos. I couldn't do it. I have no piercings.
I'm gonna get a new one of that lightning bolt.
You're gonna get the one you have redone, or you have one already like that, right? Oh no, you have Ace. You just have Ace.
Yeah. No, but I'm gonna get that lightning bolt thing I got going on in the website.
AceFrehley.com, the official site. Up, check it out. And it's officially launched, and now you guys can all go to Ace's site and ask him all these questions and get all the information about anything you want to know about when the record's coming out. And there's even a section on your site where people can email you, right? There's a contact thing, right?
Yes.
Trust me.
Well, I got David Souza, my webmaster, and Frank Muniz helping us out. And,
have someone else manage that stuff, because you will go nuts if you pay attention to it too much.
Yeah, he does.
You do not want to go down that road, man.
Like a week ago, we had no graphics, and we just they locked me in a room for 3 days.
Yeah.
Boom.
But I'm telling you, you gotta, at least I do. I don't know how you are, but as far as I'm concerned, like I have a MySpace and someone else does it, and I'm not actively involved in it. I appreciate they do it. I stay out of that world.
Right.
And I've never Googled myself. I've never looked at the message
You've
board.
never Googled yourself.
Wait a second. We were
That
just
sounds
talking
obscene. It sounds obscene. I never Googled myself.
Have you ever Googled yourself? I don't mean that way. I mean, if you gone on the computer and searched your name on Google, you must have a million entries.
Yeah.
Did you ever look at it?
Yeah.
I mean, I did do it like once a long time ago when you just see all the stuff that's there. But my point is, if you look at
Googled
it's funny when they look at it like that. My point is, if you get wrapped up into reading like online postings and stuff about everything you do, you'll go crazy.
Sure.
You get obsessed with it.
I keep it to a minimum.
And then you find out like it's just really like 5 people that end up shaping like what you do and what you say, and it's like, well, so you gotta, I have my own site. I'll look through the mail there every once in a while, but that's it.
Yeah, Scotty set me up a MySpace page when he was staying with me. And I think I've gone to it maybe once or twice.
Ooh, Scott Coogan?
Scott Coogan.
Scott Coogan?
Scott Coogan.
Is he our drummer?
Scott Coogan, our drummer. Extraordinaire.
I'll tell you, I have been over the years.
Hi, Scotty. Hi, Anthony.
Over the years, I have been emailed by some major rock artists who people have posted things.
Did they Google you?
No, they did. Unless they were female, I wouldn't want them to. But
all of a sudden now it's.
Well, you're going that road.
I didn't say anything.
But I mean, people that you wouldn't believe, like at the highest echelons of the rock world, who have been like, saw something like in a posting in like a message board on my site that I've never even looked at in the message boards that said they want it taken down. And I'm like, yeah, of course, no problem. And then I started thinking, I'm like, wait a minute. What is this person, and I'll leave him nameless, but major artist doing on anytrunk.com, like 5 layers deep into the message board? Like, I've never even looked at that.
They want to Google you.
They're finding ways to Google you.
But you have people, my point is you have people that get really obsessed with it after a while. And it starts to rule your life and how you do things. And
well, the internet
can
be like an obsessive-compulsive thing.
It's the weirdest thing being on a tour bus and having 5 guys all sitting in a row with just laptops in front of them.
Yeah, and
nobody's talking.
And now with BlackBerries, I mean, I've been at business functions where there have been someone standing right next to the person, and they're BlackBerrying or texting each other. I'm like, don't you just turn around and talk to them?
Yeah.
And they're typing to each other and standing right there.
Yeah.
Dinkleberries.
Nobody talks anymore.
No, they don't. Everyone wants to
This
type.
was an old animation.
That's pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
Ace is showing me all sorts of stuff on his computer and album covers and future album covers and
you can say that
graphics.
the title of this, since I'm not using it.
What is? Let me see. Something Eternal.
Yeah.
What's the first word? Pax.
Yeah.
Pax Eternal.
Yeah.
That's not the title though. That will the official.
That was going to be the title.
That was one of the working titles.
Yeah.
But the title you showed me initially with the other artwork, that's
the one I showed you an
in.
hour ago.
That's the title.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good title. Stay with that one.
That's pretty awesome, isn't it?
All right, let's do something from Kiss Alive 2. A lot of requests for Shock Me. Let's do the live version right now featuring the solo from Ace, and we'll let Paul Stanley do the intro as he does on the record.
I got a little surprise for you tonight. We're going to turn the microphone over to Ace Frehley.
You know, it's funny because you mentioned about the input of the band. To me, that's the beauty of the original Kiss, is the sense that the original lineup of Kiss there really was only the Beatles that I can think of where all 4 members were equally important.
Yeah.
That when you went to a Kiss show in the 70s, 76, 77, 79, I remember vividly walking into Madison Square Garden, and there were an equal amount of banners, because it was a big deal to bring a banner to a show. As proven by the back of Kiss Alive. But there were equal amount of banners hung all over the place of Ace and the Peter guy and the Paul guy and the Gene guy. And it was really, everyone the band had a massive fan base together, but everyone had their equal amount of favorite people.
Right.
It was literally a quarter. You can hardly name any other band besides maybe the Beatles, where there wasn't the key guy.
Right. Or you'd have like your Keith Richards and Mick Jagger, but not when it was a whole band where everybody was really important.
Right, and clearly in the Beatles, Lennon and McCartney were the guys, but everybody had the other guys, their favorites as well. And Kiss was the only band in its original incarnation where everybody sang, everybody had their spotlight moments, and everybody had their core of equally fanatical fans, and you just don't see that anymore.
Yeah, and also another thing that you notice,
Ace just kicks back while we're talking about him.
Yeah, I know. But what was cool, you ever notice in the 70s?
What do you want me to do?
You ever notice in the 70s?
He's looking at us like he thinks he's like, I'm friends with these guys. They're total geeks.
But when like all the bands in the 70s started dressing like Kiss, like we had like all the funk bands started coming out with like the
Parliament.
They all came out dressed like Kiss, and I don't know where I'm going with this.
I almost bought a Parliament record because of the fact I think they were also on Casablanca, and the covers looked like a Kiss cover, with the costumes and this flying saucer and all this stuff they had.
Yep.
And the music, of course, I couldn't get into, but I remember.
Yeah, you can't find too many bands now, like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They wouldn't have that show if Kiss hadn't been around.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be anything like that.
Yep. All right, this is Flushing. Mark, hi, you're live on the air. What's happening, Mark?
Hi, how you doing?
We're good.
I just wanted to tell Ace a joke, actually.
All right.
Ace, how did the murderer find his way out of the woods?
This is clean, right? Mark,
Yes.
this is clean, right?
Yes.
How did a murderer find his way out of the woods?
I don't know. How did he?
He followed the psychopath.
It's when you said that. I was just in the Psycho Motel.
Really?
I was at Universal.
Oh, the Bates Motel?
I was there a couple of weeks ago with my assistant Frank, and we were like, I got pictures and everything. I'll put it on the website. You'll see it.
Did you do that? Did you do that thing where the elevator drop when you go in the haunted house and the bottom drops out in the elevator? And the Universal?
No, I went there when nobody was there. We were like there at night.
All right.
I actually thought I saw somebody in the house. Right up the street from the Bates Motel.
Mark, you got a question real quick?
Actually, yes. I just wanted to ask Ace if he's going to call Peter today and wish him a happy birthday. Peter Chris.
To the 20th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
today's his birthday?
Yeah.
Get him on the phone.
I don't have that number.
I do, but I don't want to call at this hour. But we'll wish him a happy birthday over the air. Happy birthday,
Happy
Pete.
birthday, Peter. We love you.
Absolutely. He's in Jersey. He lives in Jersey, Peter does now, so he very well could be listening. All right, it's one or two more calls here, and we got to take a break, and then we're going to come back and play a few more songs, and now we're in the home stretch here with Ace hanging out with us. And we'll grab one more call here.
Yeah, Poppy.
This is John in Clifton. John, real quick, you're live on the air. What's happening?
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up?
I just want to say real quick, Ace, it was an honor to meet you at Chiller. I'm 14-year-old. I'm a guitar player, and you're a huge influence of mine. And basically what I know is, what's your live rig like?
Who?
Your live amp rig.
Oh, it's pretty straightforward, Just a couple of Marshalls in a rack with a DDL and...
Yeah, we just... it's just straight in.
Yeah.
Basically.
I don't really like a lot of effects on my sound.
Yeah, just for I think for the Rock Soldiers stuff with the delay, you might have a line 6 delay in there, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I know I said that was the last call, but I got to get my man Sharif, who, speaking of comedy, writes some funny stuff and sends it to us. Sharif in Brooklyn. Sharif, my brother, how are you?
Hey, bro, it's Kissmas, and I just had to chime in. Ace, brother, I'm wishing you all the best, as always. One of my favorite memories is back in 90 or 91 at the show we did at the Limelight. I was living at a loft in Crosby Street, and you came over. We had a PA system and a bunch of people there, and you started playing the Ritz to She, and I grabbed the mic. And I guess you were shocked that I knew the lyrics, but we had a good time.
Really?
I know you don't remember it, but maybe it's a good thing you don't remember it.
Jamming with Sharif. Who knew, man?
All right.
Sharif, I had no idea you had a jam.
That sounds familiar.
If I live to be 1,000, Ace, I'll never forget it. You've always been the heart of Kiss. Some people may be the face or the brains, but you definitely were the heart of that outfit.
Thank you.
But in the
Thank
spirit
you.
of Christmas, as Eddie's already know.
Yeah, Sharif sent me. Sharif writes great stuff. He does football predictions for us. He does all kinds of great stuff. Now, Sharif said he emailed me something today, and I said, you got to call in and read this. Go ahead, Sharif. It's like a Christmas poem or something, a Christmas poem.
Yeah, Christmas. Let's get it right, brother. You know, because I think of all the classics at this time, like I Saw Daddy Kissing Paul Stanley, or How Gene Sold Christmas, or the 62-year-old drummer boy. But my favorite, of course, is the Red-Nosed Guitarist. Now, I want to try to lay it down for you, but
You're
it goes
gonna
like
sing,
this.
sing it for us, Sharif. Bring it. Come on.
Okay. You know Vinny and Mark and Tommy and Bruce, all of them on stage cranking out deuce. But do you recall the best guitarist of them all? Ace, the red-nosed guitarist, had a little thing for snow. And if you ever saw it, yes, Poppy, he was high on Tom Snyder's show. All of the other kissers used to moan and pass the blame because New York Groove was a hit and the other solo albums were lame. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Eddie came to say, Ace, you won't get paid because Gene is too tight. Won't you sign with Megaforce tonight? And all the real fans loved him, playing his guitar with glee. Ace, the red-nosed guitarist, they even know him at the DMV.
That was cool.
Oh, Sharif, you got a round of applause from everyone in here, man. That's awesome. It was all in the, and just like Ace, it was all in the delivery, man. The pipes were there, Sharif. You had it down, brother.
And thanks again for the honor.
Hey, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Yes, man. So many childhood memories just hearing you. And, of course, our jamming session in 1990, 91. But, Eddie, thanks again. And
all right, man. Have a Merry Sharif.
Merry
Thank
Christmas,
you, man.
Happy
Thank
New
you for
Year.
listening.
Yeah.
He always has some funny stuff,
Funny
man.
guy, funny
You got to
guy.
have a thick skin with that guy, but it's all worth it. It's just funny stuff. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We got about a half an hour left to go. We should have Sharif on at the top of the show. That really put us in the spirit for the.
That was really
I'm going to have a
Christmas
cup of
holiday.
coffee if you don't mind.
Go
Ed.
get a cup of coffee. We'll be back from the break. We'll play a few more Kiss songs, and we'll tell a couple more stories, and we'll wrap up the original Merry Christmas special for 2008 right after this.
This is Q1043's Friday Night Rocks with Eddie Trunk.
A couple quick things to tell you about. Obviously, there's not really a lot going on in the show world right now with the new year coming up, but we'll have more. I want to remind you, though, that Biohazard and Life of Agony are playing Sunday at the Crazy Donkey in Farmingdale. Get the word on that. A few more tickets remain. Clubloaded.com is your website there to find out more about that show, which, again, is this coming Sunday night. Everything else is pretty much in the new year. Information on EddieTrunk.com. We got Glenn Hughes coming. There's also Zepp, the Zepp Fest featuring Hindenburg, and that is also going to be happening on January 31st at BB King's. We'll get more into that as we get closer. Right now, we'll clear the lines if we can. I got some tickets to go see our buddy Zach Wilde, Black Label Society, April 10th, Hammerstein Ballroom. Tickets on sale tomorrow morning, technically later this morning at 10 a.m. Free pair of tickets right now to go see BLS at 888-872-1043 at Hammerstein on April 10th. Good luck on that. Caller 25, you get them.
Q1043's Friday Night Rocks with Eddie Trunk, featuring the best in hard rock and heavy metal.
All right, while Ace gets some coffee, we're going to play something here. I'm looking up the request sheets, and this is somewhat of a rarity, an album that was never officially released in America. It was essentially a greatest hits record, but it had a few new songs on it at the time, and they were really good new songs. Eric Carr on drums, another one of those cases, though, where Ace is pictured on the cover of the album but doesn't actually play on these songs. But this one's a real good one. This is a request for a song from Kiss Killers, Nowhere to Run. I can't let this go on forever. This goes on for like another minute. We don't need this part of the song going on and on and on. Obviously, during the live version of that, that's when the bombs are going off and stuff like that. But we thought we'd do the studio version to mix it up a little bit. Peter Criss on lead vocals on a couple songs there. And again, happy birthday to Peter, who is celebrating today. And we certainly all wish him the best. Black Diamond there and Mainline. Track Peter sings on the Hotter Than Hell album. Nowhere to Run in there as well. Man, time flies when you're having fun. We're almost done with the original Merry Christmas special. Ace is nice enough to sign. We realized we didn't give away... time went so quick, some of the Christmas stuff I like to give you, so we'll do that in subsequent weeks, and I'll give you some stuff in just a little bit, as a matter of fact. But Ace is nice enough to sign a bunch of really cool Kiss posters that have been sent over from VH1 Classic, so we'll have those to give you now, and we'll do them in the coming weeks also. Really, really cool these photos are and these posters, all right? So we'll do that at some point. But we got one more ballad, and we'll lock out the show and wrap things up for the 2008 edition of the Merry Christmas special right after this.
This is Q1043's Friday Night Rocks with Eddie Trunk.
All right, you guys here on Q1043 in New York City, we'll give you a chance right now to win a few of these posters that are just awesome. Some classic Kiss shots, and Ace is signing them, and we'll give them to random callers as we speak. 888-872-1043 on that, and I'll throw in a classic Kiss CD or something to sweeten the deal a little bit, okay? Good luck on that, and we'll come back and wrap it up right after this. 888-872-1043, random callers, autographed Kiss poster by Ace. And I'll find a cool CD to put in there as well.
Cooking small birds and mammals from the inside out with 50,000 watts.
And that's why you're going to hell.
This is Q1043's Friday Night Rocks with Eddie Trunk.
Well, sad but true, we have reached the end of the 2008 original Merry Christmas special. Ace just signed a bunch of cool Kissology posters. I've got Paul Stanley's new live DVD here. I got some assorted CDs and stuff, and we'll give some stuff out at the end of the show here to random callers. Again, be patient on the phones. Holly and Andrew are doing their best. 888-872-1043 on that stuff. So we'll play one ballad to wrap it up from Kiss, of course. Nothing but Kiss music. I'll post the playlist on EddieTrunk.com. Once again, AceFrehley.com, officially launched. Go there for all the official Ace business and news and info. And in early January, you will see what I just saw, which is the cover of the album and the name of the album, which has never been printed anywhere before.
And make sure you sign up for the free stuff, the extra stuff on the website.
Nice salesman over here.
What a pitch, Derek. Sign up for the free extra stuff.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for the support over the years. 2009 is going to be a great year.
It's going to be great. I look forward to it, and I know it's going to be great because I know what's coming. So that's great, and we're psyched. I know the fans are psyched, and you guys, everybody listening, thank you all so much for the support, all the stations that run this show each and every week. Again, look for Ace in my VH1 Classic show this coming week, along with myself, Don and Jim. Ace sits in with us on the newest episode of that metal show, and we had a lot of fun, as you will see on that as well. What else? Is there anything else that we're missing? Happy birthday to Peter again. I hope you celebrate and have a great time there. Thanks to Andrew. Thanks to Holly for their help on the phones. And really, Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll see you guys again next week. Same time, same radio station. I'll be doing the all covers special. Cover versions from all your favorite hard rock and metal bands, and that's always a fun show.
Season's greetings to Paul and Gene out in California.
Absolutely. And the extended Kiss family as well, Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer and Tommy and Vinnie Vincent, wherever he may be. Nobody really knows, but wherever he is. Yeah. And Eric Carr, rest in peace, Doc, as always. Absolutely.
Doc and the crew over at
McGee. All right, everybody, thank you. Have a great, whatever you celebrate, Christmas, New Year's, everything, the whole shebang. And we will see you again real soon. Ace, thank you, man, really. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure, as usual.
And Ed, thank you so much.
Derek, great to see you as well. Anytime you guys come back and visit, and I'm sure with all the excitement coming in the beginning of next year, you'll be in talking about more things and everybody's, just so everybody knows, people in the chat room, people emailing, people who wanted to get on the air, they all want to ask very obvious questions, which we just don't have the answers for yet, which you'll know soon, which is the exact release date for the record, with new tour dates, all that sort of stuff. It's coming. You just don't have it to announce yet.
Right.
So everybody just sit tight, and now you have a place to go officially to find out.
Yep.
You don't have to go to rely on fan sites, my site, anything else, acefrehley.com. All the heat is off me for once. Your source, anything that you want to know, go to Ace's site for Ace.
Yep.
I'll happily direct you there now when you come to me. So I'm happy that that's there as well. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Again, Merry Christmas to all. Thank you for the support. The closing ballad comes from an album that we've also gone to a couple of times in this show tonight. It's an album that's, again, a very controversial album with Kiss. People either love it or hate it. Very few people fall in the middle, and that is The Elder. And the closing ballad is the song A World Without Heroes, which was the single from that album. It was Ace's last album he really recorded with the band, and I was mentioning this earlier. I remember seeing the video for this, and the solo... Ace is strumming an acoustic guitar in the whole video, and you're like, no, this can't be. Your first sign of trouble.
Paul's playing the solo?
Nobody. Well, I love Paul's solos, actually, but nobody...
I agree with you, but I was thinking the same thing when I saw that when I was growing up. I was like, what is Ace of them playing the solo?
You know, they're already pushing the issue with a concept record with this orchestration and all this stuff, and then the first single's a ballad with Gene crying at the end and Ace playing an acoustic guitar.
Yeah. I guess other people were crying, too. Nah, it's a good song.
All right, well, here it is. Paul Stanley on lead guitar and Ace strumming along here. Our closing ballad is A World Without Heroes from The Elder. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for the support. Have a great 2009, and I will see you guys next week, same time, same radio station.